The letters were scattered all over the city, to relatives, friends, housewives, professionals, factory workers, doctors, lawyers, teachers, priests, and preachers, even Facebook friends, and the only thing they had in common was Amy Taylor and Josh Long. It contained the following. Hello? I am Ben Taylor, husband of Amy, your daughter, sister, friend, and colleague. I know most of you don't know me, and I appreciate your time. I have information about my loving wife and her friend. Information that some of you already have and some of you suspect. I decided to get rid of all doubts and share what I have. Most people won't like it. Some will hate her, others will hate me. But that is the price I am willing to pay. Please see the first application. A photo of Amy and Josh appeared on the screen, fully clothed, but at the same time passionately kissing. The caption read, Prelude. This was taken 3 months ago at her company picnic. They thought they were being careful, but my friend was looking for his children and saw them. He took some pictures and gave them to me, thinking I would need them. What a good friend, and I'm not kidding. I'm ashamed that after this I became a classic insecure husband. I had to find out everything, even if it killed me. And it did. I mean, it killed me. Our promises to each other and to God, to friends and family were rejected. Rejected by lust. I hate to think it was love. Of course, I torment myself with the question, why? Maybe it was because I left her alone for long periods of time while the SEAL team and I were conducting covert operations for the CIA. No, wait. I never served in the military, and the only SEALs I know are the ones that sunbathe in the harbor. Maybe it was because I left her alone when I went on business. This can't be true. I don't go anywhere on business, and I hardly work overtime. I get home every evening at 5:30 at the latest. Probably this is because I abandoned all my hobbies, ran away and left her and the children alone. While I am having fun, missing birthdays, holidays, anniversaries. No, this is impossible. My only hobby is making her happy. She seemed to enjoy little surprise gifts and weekend outings, and had to keep an eye on me to make sure I didn't overdo it on those occasions. And, as it turned out, fortunately, we did not have time to have children. I was not cruel to her either mentally or physically. I did not neglect her. I always made sure that she knew that I loved her, and spent as much time with her as possible. Luckily, she had a job. Otherwise, she would never have had time to spend with Josh. It helped that he was her boss, which made their little meetings pretty easy throughout the day. I was shocked when I received positive evidence. It turned out to be a little expensive, possibly illegal, but I didn't plan to use them in court. I decided to go to the court of public opinion and evidence for what I'm saying, about their romance, of course. The following attachments are quite explicit, so do not open them if you think they will offend you. The following 2 images appeared. The first was a photo of Amy taken from a top-down angle. She looked up lovingly while her mouth was busy. She's really good at this, was the signature. The second was a combination of images of them having kinky sex. Their faces expressed lust and happiness. There was a signature underneath it. What did she not do for me? Sorry if I offended you, but I wanted to remove all doubts. Why should I show you these photos? Because I filed for divorce using the reason irreconcilable differences and not adultery. This way I can avoid most of the sympathetic looks, the occasional smirks from the assholes of both sexes who already knew everything, and the inevitable conversations. You know what I mean. All her friends ask if I am sure that this is exactly what I want, if it was a mistake, that she can see a psychologist, that she is sorry, that this will never happen again, that we should try to forget everything. Her mother, whom I loved as much as my own, would not try to make me back down, or her father, whom I respected but never truly loved, would try to reason with me. I apologize to all of you for getting caught up in this story. My deepest desire is for you to leave me alone. This is strictly between me and my wife. Well, not quite. I didn't take Josh into account. I have to apologize to his wife, Sunny. You shouldn't have had to deal with this. Or to your 2 children. How old are they now? 8 and 5. Maybe he will change. Maybe you can forgive him. This is your choice. And I apologize to his company and its senior management for dragging them into the upcoming lawsuit. After all their meetings took place in their office. I think now the supplies know the reason why they put a sofa in his office. Just a tip. If you give your sofa to someone else, make sure it's thoroughly cleaned first. I know I can't use the photos, but all my lawyer has to do is take statements from their colleagues. I seriously doubt they will take over the company. In general, many people will lead rather miserable lives for a while. So to finish, here's why I did it all this way. To eliminate all doubts and not waste time. In the end, each photo will tell the whole story, right? Amy will be served with divorce papers. This should happen any minute. I will try to build a new life without her. Amy, I'm sorry I wasn't enough for you. If you had come to me in the beginning, told me you had feelings for someone else, and walked away, it would have devastated me. But I would respect your decision. Instead, you were a classic cakey eater, wanting to keep it intact while continuing to eat it. Well, the cake is gone, Amy, and I'm pretty sure you're going to have a pretty bad case of indigestion. Or maybe not. Maybe you're even glad that I found out about this so you and your lover can run off into the sunset. As you wish. It's all over between us. I moved out of the house and took what I wanted. Everything else is yours. All contact will be made through my lawyer, and it is my firm wish that I never speak to you again. I don't need an explanation. I don't want to know why. I don't want to hear talk about second chances because they won't even be considered. Go ahead, Amy. Leave me. The entire office heard Amy scream before she slid out of her chair in a deep swoon. Colleagues rushed to her aid. Unfortunately, she fainted when she saw a photo of Josh having kinky sex with her. The buzzing soon began after one of the administrators discovered the email and opened it. Work has practically come to a standstill. Josh didn't know what was going on and was surprised to see the HR director standing in the doorway. "This is true?" he asked without any preamble. "Really?" Josh asked, not understanding what he was talking about. The director entered, slamming the door behind him. "Is it true that you and Amy are having an affair?" "Here, in the office." Josh turned pale. The director thought he was going to faint. This pretty much confirmed everything. It's a shame. He always liked Josh. "You're an idiot. Do you have any idea how much damage you both have caused? Most of our largest clients are religious charities. How do you think they'll feel if they learn that 2 of our senior employees committed indecent acts on company property during work hours?" He paused, breathing heavily before continuing. "I just came from a meeting with senior management. The CEO called, demanding confirmation. He's already received calls from the Archbishop, the president of Baptist Charities, and Rabbi Friedman. Things are not going so well." He paused again, looking at Josh. "I want you out of here in 15 minutes. You've been suspended pending an investigation. No, wait half an hour. Amy is being escorted out of here as we speak. And as I understand, you haven't seen this yet. Go to your email and look at what came from her husband." He turned without another word and slammed the door again as he left. His fingers trembled as he pressed the button. When he got to the photo of him having lewd sex, he felt physically ill and vomited in the trash. Everything had to be fun and disposable, so that no one would find out anything. But they both liked it so much that they continued, promising each other that their spouses would never find out. Sonny must be desperate, he thought. And then it hit him. "Oh my God, Sonny!" He screamed loudly before dialing her number. He was surprised when she answered. Maybe she hasn't seen it yet. She seemed calm. "This is true?" she asked in a cold, emotionless voice. "What's true, honey?" "Josh, you only have one chance to tell me the truth. 1. If you deny and I catch you in a lie, our conversations will be conducted by lawyers. So is this true?" He felt the walls closing in. He really loved her. And he also knew that he had no choice. "I'm so sorry, honey. Yes, that's true, but..." She cut him off. "I'm packing 2 suitcases for you. Your favorite things. They will be in the garage. Please come and get them while I pick up the kids from school. I would leave myself, but at least one of us needs to be a responsible adult here. After all, children are involved. Until I decide what to do, I will tell them that you had to leave on business. Understand one thing. If I decide not to try to save everything, you yourself will tell them why Dad doesn't live here anymore. They won't understand it now, but they will in a few years. I hope this doesn't push them away from you. I'm leaving. Don't try to contact me. If I decide, I'll call you myself." There was silence for a few seconds. Then a cry was heard. "Damn you!" She howled, hanging up. He stared at the phone like it was a snake before he dropped it. The phone immediately rang. He looked at the name. Amy. "Hello," he said hesitantly. For a minute he heard only crying and sniffling. Then she spoke in such a quiet voice that he almost did not recognize her. Josh, what should we do? He is my life. We were going to try for a baby next year. I can't lose him. I can't." For the 20th time that day, he felt terrible sadness. What have they done? "I feel the same way about Sonny. But honestly, Amy, I don't see a happy ending for either of us. If we loved each other, we could accept our freedom and be together. But although we liked each other, we didn't want to be together. You know that our work is over. If not now, then soon. Sonny kicked me out, and I don't know if we'll ever get back together. I'm so sorry for Ben. Do you think if I talk to him, say that there was no love, that we didn't want it, will it help? I'm ready to do it. No. I think the best thing you can do right now is to stay as far away from him as possible. Every time he looks at you, he will remember what we did. He was never cruel, but he had never been in so much pain. I'll talk to you later." He thought it through carefully. "No. All they need to know is that we are no longer communicating. Otherwise, it will undermine everything we are trying to restore. I'm sorry it came to this, Amy. You know I never meant harm to you. I feel the same way. I hope everything works out for you with Sonny. I know how much you love her. I can't believe we were ever so stupid. Goodbye, Josh. And good luck. I think we'll both need it." Amy returned home. She knew he wouldn't be there, but she hoped no matter what. The same house, the same furniture, the same paintings on the walls. But he seemed naked and empty, and she knew why. A quick search of his closets revealed that all of his belongings were gone. She looked further, entering his barn and workshop. They were cleared. All instruments were taken away. She was surprised when he made it, but then remembered that she had never entered them. Everything could have been missing for weeks, and she would never have known. She looked for a note, some message, but found nothing. She sat down at the kitchen table, in her usual place, and looked sadly at his empty chair. She lowered her head to the table, and for the first time that day, but not the last, she cried. True to his word, Ben never spoke to her again. He refused to negotiate. He refused to go to court, which ordered counseling, reporting to prison instead of meeting in an office to serve his contempt charge. Confused, the police took his statement that he was ready to go to jail and sent him home, since no arrest warrant had been issued. The judge was dubious and jailed him the following weekend, releasing him on Sunday evening so he could go to work. He spent 3 weekends in jail before Amy finally gave in to her lost cause and canceled her counseling sessions. The divorce took almost a year. Amy still hoped that he would return to her, but when her mother saw the announcement of his upcoming wedding, she gave up. On his wedding day, she got drunk for the first time in 2 years. Time may not heal all wounds, but it makes the pain more bearable. Finally, she started dating again. She had 2 serious relationships that ended as soon as she talked about her past before she finally met a man who loved her enough to put her past behind her and focus on the future. She married him and they were happy. She was very careful in her relationships with other men, especially where she worked. She was called a nun because she never went to social parties and hardly talked to men except about work matters. The only thing that darkened her happiness was a chance meeting with Ben 2 years after her wedding. He left town with a secret settlement from her former company to keep the case from going to trial. He was back in town to celebrate the 25th wedding anniversary of his sister and her husband. She saw him by chance, sitting on a park bench. At first, she wasn't sure it was him. He was thinner than she remembered, and there was gray in his hair. She stopped at a traffic light and decided she wanted to talk to him, hoping to finally apologize for her actions. But she changed her mind when a tall woman with fiery red hair approached him, with a boy about 2 years old and a little girl about 6 or 7 years old. The girl had red curls like her mother, and the boy had dark curls. The girl jumped onto his lap, and the woman took the younger one in her arms. He stood up, holding the girl in his arms, kissed the woman, and left. Amy was surprised to feel tears, but then realized that she had glimpsed a future that was supposed to be hers. She wiped away her tears and went home to cook her husband his favorite dinner. Josh and Sunny managed to make peace after 15 months of separation. She made him go through counseling, individually and together, and sign a pretty rigid prenup. He apologized so much that she finally lost her patience and said that if he apologized again, she would leave forever. He became a different person. He rarely went anywhere without her or his children. He worked hard. His new job didn't pay as well as his old one, but he received raises and bonuses for his hard work. It took him 6 years to return to his previous level. Sunny had to take a job to make ends meet, and when they reunited, she refused to leave it. It broke his heart when she sometimes went out for drinks after work or went to quarterly work seminars. She had never done anything remotely indecent, but her stubborn refusal to talk about it bothered him greatly, and she secretly took great satisfaction in it. Their lives were far from the same as before, but they worked to build a better life for themselves and their children. One day, it occurred to Josh. They had sex with Amy about 12 times, averaging 30 to 45 minutes. Using the highest figure, it came out to about 9 hours, counterbalanced by his family's years of suffering and the destruction of Amy's marriage. Was it worth it? No, damn it! Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one.